Wholesalers Club, where we're all about helping you get to that next deal or that first deal paycheck, where you could tell your naysayers, those bill collectors, those haters, all those things that crush your dreams. Okay, you can tell them to shut up. That's that shut up money. Okay, having freedom. Okay, not having, I didn't say having a Lamborghini. I said having freedom. Freedom. Right? Okay, that's that shut up money. Guys, that's been my goal my whole life, is to have that freedom. I want to welcome you today. This is the Saturday edition of the Shut Up Money Show. We are realestatewholesalersclub.com. I am Justin Chamness. If you want to join us today, you can do that. This is a public format. You're welcome to come on in here, www.zoomjustin.com. And today we have a special guest from leadminingpros.com, Mr. Nicholas Nick. But if you
What's up?
What's going on, man? Look at that. Would you look at that?
You see me, dude? I got the onesie out for this, bro.
Dude, how do you pee?
Well, dude, I don't want to say I'll show you, but check this thing's got two zippers in the bottom.
What?
So I can zip it from the bottom up and it will actually open in the front, dude. Genius, bro.
Who thinks this stuff up, man?
I don't know, but every time I go to the bathroom, I'm glad they did.
Right, exactly.
How's your morning coming, dude?
Man, it's really good, dude. Thank you for asking. You guys want to jump in here? Zoomjustin.com. The password is money.
Yes, it is, because that's what we make, baby.
It's always money. The password to the next level is money.
Yeah. Oh, next level. Man, that gave me, I've been working on some dissertations that we could talk about regarding, what the next level looks like.
Dissertations?
Yeah.
That's a college word, man. You got.
Dude, I don't know what it means. Let's ask Google. Okay, Google, what does dissertation mean? Let's see what she says.
Here's the definition of dissertation. A long essay on a particular subject, especially one written as a requirement.
Dude, I crushed it. It's a long essay written on a particular subject. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's still making sense, Justin. That's
so. So you wrote a long essay on what the next level looks like.
Yeah. Well, I've recently been doing a lot of soul searching because, not to say anything about anything, but, I am the next level to a bunch of people that I know. Okay. And no offense to anyone, but I don't have anyone that's close to me in my life that's my next level. Okay. Let's just be real. All right. So, the people that are in my life, like, they all look up to me. They're all like, how did you get here? How did you do this? And like most things, when we have like mastery in an area, it's so easy to see the mistakes I used to make, maybe the mistakes someone else is making, or most importantly, let's not even say mistakes. Maybe I can see the opportunities that I seized that other people are passing up. Okay, let's not even call it a mistake. Maybe, they don't want to fight the bull. So, I'm just going to go into it briefly here, if you don't mind.
Fight the bull.
Fight the bull, yeah. Fight the bull, and you know what? Beat the boss. So here's actually my number one thing, and I may have touched on this a little bit last time I was here. I'm very consistent with my messages. But, everyone out there working a 9 to 5. Okay, everyone out there working for someone else, everyone out there with the dream to become an entrepreneur, right? Like, they often want that dream to be fulfilled as quickly and as painless as possible.
Oh, absolutely. Like by this evening.
Yeah, right. And you know what? I sympathize. Who the heck doesn't? Right? I mean, amen. However, I heard this amazing story about Alexander the Great the other day.
Oh, and dude, I love history lessons.
Bro, and let me tell you, I'm not even good at this, but I think I got the gist of it. All right. And Alexander the Great fought from the front in every battle that he put his teams in. Every battle he put his troops in, he was in the front. And there was a time when his troops were going to have a mutiny on him. They were going to kill him and say, he doesn't know the direction. He keeps pushing us to fight. He keeps pushing us to do this. They were in the middle of a war, and it was time where a lot of the guys wanted to retreat. Okay? And he was like, we can't retreat. We're better than this. So they're about to kill him and retreat. And he knew it was coming. So he strips down naked and stands in front of them and says, I am not saying that I have the ultimate say, but if you can show me a man who carries more scars than I do, I will follow his lead.
Wow. Wow.
Dude, I got goosebumps repeating that. Okay. Wow. And it's like this guy, and that's the fucking truth. You know, as an entrepreneur, if you don't have enough fucking scars, you are not gonna be an entrepreneur.
Right.
You know, you've got to struggle. You gotta fucking hate your boss, and then you gotta beat your boss. You gotta hate your wife, and then don't beat your wife, but then you gotta but for real, I think what we do is we come up against obstacles and we quit. That's what I think people do.
It's supposed to hurt, you're saying? I mean, because I don't like that, right? Nobody likes that.
That's right. No one. What do you mean it's supposed to hurt? You know, I ride this one wheel thing around, and it's dangerous. It's got one big wheel in the middle, and it's like a skateboard. And everyone goes, "Be careful, don't fall." And I said, "What if I told you falling is the funnest part?" Right? Like I'm being for real. My buddies who actually skates, you can probably relate. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you fall off of something, flying through the air is actually a blast. Hitting the fucking ground is what. Okay?
It's so true. Right. Get it right. Get the facts right.
That's right. You know, it's like, I like flying.
I had never heard that story before about Alexander the Great, and we need to do a drunk history for real estate investors. You know that.
Let me freshen up a little bit, but I would love that.
You know that show, Drunk History, Comedy Central, I think. I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude. I introduced my mom to that show, and it's like all she watched for months is people just get drunk and tell history lessons. It's amazing. But you know, I really feel that, you know, a lot of people shortcome that. They come up against a boss they don't like and they quit. They come up against a schedule they don't like and they quit. They come up against an obstacle, and you know where the lessons are? Beating the obstacle. Okay? The lessons are in overcoming your circumstances.
Yeah. And there's always more than one. There's always more than one way around something. I've found. It seems insurmountable, maybe, or impossible. My schedule seems so impossible. Dude, where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah. You know, I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and this might also resonate with some people. And Jordan Peterson is one of our, thought leaders of the day. And he was talking about people arguing with their kids at bedtime. Oh, it's just 30 minutes. What do I care if he wants to put up a fight before we put him to bed?
Right.
And he says, 30 minutes. He says, did you know the average person has only 3 hours a day of their time to do whatever the hell they want to do? So if you're spending 30 minutes of your 3 hours arguing with your son or wasting time or handling anything superfluous, you're actually wasting the only hours of your day that you could even be productive. You know, and so often we pick these little fights with stupid ass things that don't even matter to us, and then we let them slow us down.
That's so true. That's so true.
No, go ahead.
Leadminingpros.com, everybody. Nicholas Nick, it's awesome to have him here. Yeah. This is an open forum. If you want, please join us, zoomjustin.com. Password is money. We do have quite a few people that are in the Zoom room with us here today. I had an idea. I want to just jump into one of those calls that you have shared with us in the past, the virtual assistant calls. I want to play just a short little piece of maybe 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Of your VAs actually making calls. Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay, I've got it pulled up. So let me share the screen here. And
Justin, you're the man, Justin. You always remind me to talk about my business. I always just want to talk about other stuff.
That's all right, dude. Actually, I think I forgot to click a button. I'm supposed to click share computer sound. All right, so let me go back to this. Sorry, guys. This here is actually a script that he gives away for free. Yeah. Okay. If you go to leadminingpros.com, you can get this script for free. There's also a companion script that comes with this for buyers. However, this one in particular is the seller side script. And so let me play this clip for you, or a couple, 2 or 3 clips of some of these virtual assistants that he has working with him. And they've made over 3 million phone calls. Now, what I want to point this out for is because I believe that this will be a paradigm shift for you if you want it to be. If you are out there trying to, well, one, if you're looking for somebody that is a lead gen expert, well, that's definitely Nicholas Nick and leadminingpros.com. But if you're out there with a virtual assistant trying to get them to do, I want these calls. I want you to hear what a real good one sounds like. I think that's going to be a paradigm shift for you. Now, I want you to compare what you've got going to what you're about to hear. Is that fair? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't listened to these in a while, so I'm nervous and excited at the same time.
Hello. Hi, I'm sorry to bother. I'm looking for the owner of the property at 4600 Northwest 45th Street.
You got her.
Hello?
Yes. It's
oh, hi. Hi, am I speaking with April?
Yes.
Hi, April. My name is Ricky, and we are actually buying properties within the area, and I was calling to see if ever maybe you have considered selling before?
Yes, Ricky, we're actually going to be selling, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to be buying.
We might be able to help you out, so...
No, it's not going to be a matter of helping me out. That house has been completely redone. You're not going to get it. Nothing.
It's been redone? That's to increase the value. What is your roughly how much are you expecting for
I wouldn't
price?
take a dime less than $250.
$250, okay. Again,
and we're on a canal.
Excuse me?
We're on a canal.
Okay, and I presume everything is, the house is in good condition, right? Everything is.
It's in excellent condition.
Excellent, that sounds good. Here's the thing. While we're talking, I just want to let you know that I am going to ask you a few questions, and then I'll submit this information to my partner, and in a couple of days, he will be able to give you an offer. So
Do you know how
I
many
would.
phone calls I've had like this in the last week? I don't know what you guys are up to,
Mhm.
but you're wasting my time and yours. I'm looking for a real buyer, not somebody that wants to buy it for pennies on the dollar. It isn't going to happen.
Yeah, you said you wanted 250,000 for it, right? So we could probably, come up with the figures as well. So,
Well, I'm sure you
um,
could, but it won't be 250. Thank
we
you.
will
You
try.
have a
I'll
business.
take note of that, though.
Okay. Um,
Dude, that was great. That was great. And you know what? You know what that speaks? You know what that really speaks to me?
I
Is,
loved it.
dude, I loved it. And you know what really speaks to me is how many wholesalers don't have a retail strategy. That's what that says to me.
Yeah. Great point. I was thinking, that's why you have a virtual assistant do this.
Yes.
That's the very reason why, because you want them to take that bullish seller and not you all day long. Right. So, but let's talk about what would you say again, Nicholas?
Oh, just how, people, they don't have a retail strategy. I think a lot of investors get confused. I think that they get confused about the definition of a motivated seller and the definition of a distressed seller. Okay. Someone totally can be motivated to sell and not be distressed. Okay. I don't know if everyone knows that, but we have to watch our vocabulary. I want motivated sellers. Well, I'll get them to you. Nick, this one's not distressed. And when people say, I said, we have to understand that I'm here to find sellers, period. Okay. Now, the next phase is there's a percentage of these sellers that exist that their lives are melting down around them.
Right.
Okay? And as a result, when their lives are melting down around them, they're willing to take 50%, 70% on the dollar. Okay. But so it's a really unique dance. However, this lead, anyone could follow it. You could wholetail this lead. You can follow. First of all, we got a lot of information out of a very angry woman.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a lease option candidate right there.
Right. Yeah.
If she's motivated like that and she's got to have full purchase price, full value, full fair market value, there's still alternatives for the wholesaler who's savvy.
Yeah, and one of my always recommendations to all my clients is you have three choices: become a realtor, become best friends with a realtor, okay, or wait. Those are your three options, okay. Like when someone and what the other fact of the matter is, every distressed seller was once a retail seller. Okay. Nobody starts and says, you know what, honey, let's go ahead and sell this house for half of what it's worth.
Right.
Outside.
Right. Huh. That's interesting. Tell us about this call.
Okay.
Is this American or Filipino?
No, that's Filipino, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Get out of here. I swear that was American.
Dude, I got lucky. And my team, I'm not passing judgments here, but the big main secret to an expert Filipino caller is that they're gay. Again, I'm not judging anyone, but I accidentally cracked the market on a bunch of gay Filipinos, and they all work for me. They're all great friends. I'm sure they do whatever they do down there. And, they run in a circle, and they are dependable, hardworking, and their accent, because they're a little flamboyant, actually sounds American.
Yeah, he sounded amazing.
Amazing. And so I just told everyone my secret. Please don't go hunting for gay Filipinos. They're mine. Okay.
I was just trying to think, how you find that on Upwork or something? Like,
what kind of keywords?
Exactly.
Definitely don't Google that one.
Yeah, don't Google. And to be honest with you, I just got lucky. I had a couple great employees, and I couldn't tell whether they were American or Filipino. And that's kind of when I fell in love, and I realized that we really cracked the nut. No pun intended.
Let me play another one.
Yeah, please do.
I don't want to play the whole thing because this one's pretty lengthy.
Sure.
But let's try.
Sorry to bother you. I was actually looking for the owner of 1612 Index Court, Southeast in Renton.
That would be me.
Yeah, reason for the call, I do buy some property here in the area, and I was wondering if you had any interest in selling it by chance.
I would be interested in talking price. Situation has changed a little bit for us, and selling and looking for something different, a fresh start somewhere else, may be what we need. But I really can't talk right now. My wife's in the hospital.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
I just got home, dropped stuff off, and I need to head down to the hospital. I just getting home from work, so I can do that. So
okay.
Would you be willing to call me back in a day or two? I teach high school, so I'm in, tomorrow during the day, but tomorrow after 5 p.m. You want to call me back?
Does this guy sound motivated, y'all?
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what do we know about him so far? His wife is sick and in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
He teaches high school. So this is like a decent guy. It sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell his heart's heavy right now.
Oh,
and he's already ready to price drop. It's the first thing he says.
First thing he says is, yeah, I'd be willing to talk price.
Yeah, he didn't say 175, no lower.
Yeah.
He said,
wow,
let's make this work,
Yeah, that's great.
I could do that, and before I can, I know you're probably busy right now. Can I just maybe take like a minute just to ask you just a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, what kind of condition is the property in?
It's like, I know you don't have time and your wife's in the hospital and all that, but can I ask you a couple of questions? Sure.
Dude, I honestly can't believe that my employee went for it.
Dude, but it totally worked. That's great.
And to touch on that real quick, that's what it takes, and we train that. I train one clap back. You have to at least ask once. Well, are you sure? Or you got to bring it up one time. Don't be pushy. If he says no again, you're out, right? But, I really strive for them to jab one more time because it's the least we could do.
So how frequently do you have quote unquote trainings with your calling team?
Honestly, it's really all day long. So I have a manager whose sole job, she works 50 hours a week, is to listen in, coach, and develop. And we use call tools. So one of the biggest perks and why I'll always use call tools is the listen in feature. So if I have 7 employees working at the same time, my girl can listen in to like each one of them. She can provide them live feedback while they're talking, and the other person can't hear it, just the other team member can. And so it's really kind of always ongoing. I've kind of have a full-time quality assurance manager put in for that.
That's great.
She's amazing. I can't even tell you. Her name is Sherry. If you hire us, you'll see she also cold calls for us. So you'll see her name at the bottom of the leads. She's a godsend.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So it's not something that you like train them one time for 30 minutes or you just, I'm certain a lot of folks are like, here's my script.
Yeah.
I mean, to their own virtual, their own attempts here. Here's my script. I'll be looking to see if you get any leads.
Well, and let's touch on that briefly. So here's actually how our training looks. So you're right. We keep it going always. We're never done, right? Because you know why? Because some people need a slap on the ass sometimes. It's a fact of life. I was a restaurant manager for 17 years.
What's a slap on the ass sound like? Okay, because you're talking about spanking your VA team if you need to.
Oh man, boy, does your VA team need some spankings.
Okay, but what's a slap on the ass sound like?
Well, I hate to say this, but you got to be a little stern. Now I'm a communicator, so I'm on it. I'm communicating clearly. I know how VAs work. When you're working with the VA, not only do you tell them what to do, you tell them what not to do. Okay? Because they're so in their own world, they don't really know what you mean.
Are they like overachievers to your detriment sometimes?
That's called maliciously obedient. Is what they are. So I think we both just said the same phrase, but I don't think the phrase is overachievers, but they are like over listening. They are, if you tell them something and whatever they understand, it's all they're going to understand for a long time. So whenever something happens, and you really have to beware of VA's time thieving. I think a time thief is happening to 80% of people that hire VAs.
I think so too. It's a racket.
Yeah.
Right. What a racket.
You know what? Let's be that VA for a moment. And here's where I have grace.
Right. Okay? Right. This guy doesn't give a shit about his business. He doesn't know what's going on. He ain't checked on me today. He ain't checked on me this week. I ain't even heard from that guy in 2 weeks. Fuck him. I'll keep the money and do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. And if what gets measured gets moved. So if you're not measuring shit and they're like, well, hey, I actually stayed clocked in today and he didn't notice I stopped working. Well, what does that mean for tomorrow? Now they might get nothing done tomorrow. They're just testing you along the way. I have metrics in my business that I literally can see the engine when it slows down, when it stops, when it's running great. I can literally see every aspect of it. And it's been, wildly beneficial to see that. But let's talk about the slap on the ass. So,
Nick, wait a minute, Nicholas, are you friends with these? Are you friends with this call team?
Yeah, they're my people.
Like, I mean, do y'all hang out and talk about your families and your kids and you have beers together and you smoke a little joint every now and then you go to the movies on the weekends when they're open and shit like this? Are you buddy like that?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Could you pull it off?
Honestly, it takes a very high level of expert leadership to pull that off. If you are to muddle those lines, it takes a very high level of leadership. Now, here's the key to muddling those lines. You ready? If you're smoking joints and drinking beers with them, you're still only talking about work. That's the only loophole to doing those things. You want to go to the movies? Still talk about work. You want to go to this? Still talk about work. Never once can it be about women or stuff or anything outside of the work realm, because then it gets confusing. I thought we were cool, man. I thought, we did all this other stuff. No, it's always been about work, even when we're having fun. So I don't want to put out the vibe that, you can't do fun things, but you have to be intentional. You can't become the guy you are when you're hanging with your bros with your team.
I tell them, hey, listen, business is numbers. That's all it is. Yeah. And that's all I give a care about.
Yeah.
It is the money.
Yeah.
Okay. So We need to do the activities that make the money, because that's all I give a shit about. So you can call, I might even be a greedy bastard, but I will take care of you, and you will have so much fun working for me. You're going to love me.
Well, and what you're speaking to is important. So I have had people try to poach my VAs, even other employees that work for me that try to leave, and they think they can duplicate this amazing $1 million business that I have. And I don't blame them. And they offer my VAs more money. And do you think these people that have been with me for 2.5 years are going anywhere? Do you think that they know where the money's coming from? They know not to chase you for $9 an hour when they're guaranteed 6 with me for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? And so there's something to really be said to, treating your people fairly, giving them that environment, and creating the environment that you're talking about, where it is all business. You know who appreciates all business? A hard-working employee appreciates all business. There's some people out there who don't want to get high with you, who don't even want to get drunk with you. And if they did, your employee would begin to think less of you. It's not always, the fun that we think it is. We got to keep it all business because we want them to keep it all business.
Exactly. I learned that the hard way. The need to spank your VA or your call team. What'd you call it? Slapping them on the ass? What would you call it?
Everyone needs a slap on the ass.
Yeah. I spanking them. That's what I call it. You got to spank them sometimes. Being real firm with them, being like the school teacher who's a real hard ass at the very beginning of the year, and then he kind of lightens up a little bit. And he's kind of a cool guy by the middle of the year. By the end of the year, you kind of like him even. And then by the start of the next year, you miss him, because you really learned a lot, and he was a good teacher.
Justin, I had this girl that worked for me, and I'll never forget. I was a Dunkin' Donuts general manager. I'm sure we can all relate. Okay. Everyone's probably had a cup of Dunkin' by now. And this girl worked for me, and she was so beautiful and young. So when you're beautiful and young, everyone just bends over for you. Oh yeah, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. No confrontation. Whatever you say goes. So she comes to work for me.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah. She starts whining at me. I don't think I've ever had an employee whine at me other than this girl before. And she's, and I said, don't you whine at me. Okay, that shit's not going to work. I can't even tell you how stern I was with this girl. And I thought she hated me. And then she quit. She got a better job. And she sits me down and she said, Nick, I'm going to miss you the most. You taught me everything I know about being a good employee. It blew me away.
You made me feel like a woman, Nick.
That's the onesie. That's the onesie.
Oh my gosh.
No, and you're exactly right. And so I have a quote that tends to exactly what you're saying. And that is, nobody wants to be managed until they're managed to greatness. And then they never want to stop being managed.
Exactly. Success is exciting.
Yes.
For the people that work for you even.
Yeah, dude. No, think about us. Like, I feel like as leaders, we forget what it's like. When you're good at something, nothing feels better. Nothing feels better than being great at something. And so I really try to make my people great, like absolutely stunning. And even like when I hire consultants or if I hire a marketing team, the same thing always happens. I always end up pushing them to do something they've never done before. Like, we never thought of this and it worked. We did it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like we got to the next level together, And it's like, I feel like we don't often, push ourselves enough. We don't often try to raise that bar.
You said next level again, man.
Next level, dude.
Hey, if you're participating, if you're playing along with us in the drinking game, it's time to take another shot, right? Yes. He said next level.
It's espresso, but it works.
Hey, that's not a bad idea for the VIP. We could have drinking game night, and we pick a great phrase like next level, and every time
that's actually a really good idea.
That's a super good idea.
That should be like a Thursday night podcast. I want to be the first guest, and we try to use the word as much as humanly possible.
I would have to do a video on Friday. What to do when your boss fires you for being hungover at work.
how to become an entrepreneur out of no choice. But one thing about the virtual assistants, and this just happened the other day. So I'm actually this chief operating officer of a $7 million roofing company, and
wow.
Yeah, I do that on the side. That's my side gig.
Did you used to swing the hammer and everything?
Oh God, no! We actually became friends out of a mastermind I hosted out of lead mining, and then she loved the way my brain works, and I've been working for them for 7 months now, and they've never been more profitable. And I'm like, they're in Texas, I'm in Florida, but it's still amazing. But recently we had a VA.
And your machine feet, they're complementary to one another, right?
As far as the lead gen goes?
Yeah. Or do you not cross pollinate your businesses?
Because she pays me so well, I do give her 1,000 dials a week where we call her roofing leads.
Nice. Okay,
I just threw that in. That wasn't a part of the deal.
I see.
But I'm like, hey, you're taking care of me, girl. I'm taking care of you. But so I'll tell you, I don't hold anything back, Justin. If I have a resource available that's going to help someone, they're getting it,
Dude, I feel you, man. I'm the same way, man. And you know what? I have not worried about the competition because most of the time what people ask for isn't really what they need to get it done anyway.
Yeah.
You know what right. That's crazy, but it's kind of true. Does anybody have questions for Nicholas? I've been talking a lot. Has anybody got questions for him?
Yeah, feel free. And I saw Jamie took himself off the video, but I think he was walking on a treadmill.
That's Jaime. Yeah.
Jaime, yeah, while he was watching us.
I know, man. That is the habit of billionaires, right?
Dude, he's next level, bro. I'm watching him like I gotta level up. He's still going, dude.
Boom, there he is. At
first, I thought he was practicing for a boxing match, and then I realized that dude. That's amazing, Jaime. Dude, he's got weights in his hands. Oh, bro, you're a monster, dude. Freaking monster. I love that. And thank you for letting us be a part of your Saturday morning routine, Jaime.
Yeah, that's great. I set up a little system like that too. But you guys even maybe saw me walk on a treadmill for a couple Q&As or something. And man, I feel real self-conscious about it. I don't know why. Something about being on camera while I'm walking on a treadmill gives me the creeps. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm walking somewhere, but I ain't going nowhere.
Also, too, I start wondering, am I breathing heavy? Do I look like I'm sweating?
So letting the brain slow you down a little bit, and that's an important thing, what you're saying. And one thing I'll just bring up that I saw a friend of mine fall into is I'm trying to talk a friend of mine into investing in real estate. And we start talking about it. And then he goes into this 2-hour daydream about how he used to be in sales and it worked so well. And this guy is rattling on for 2 fucking hours. And he gets done and I'm like, dude, what does this have to do with starting real estate investing? I understand you want to walk down memory lane because you want your confidence to be high enough when you start real estate investing. I get it. Okay. I know what he was trying to do. But what he was actually doing was slowing it. You don't have to live your own past, bros. Your fucking past. You don't have to relive it. Sit down, sign up for Podio, cold call a lead, and follow up with them. We don't need all these brain games getting in our way of our success.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree 100%. Let's play a little more of this one. This one's a good one.
The house does have just some aesthetic things inside that need to be dealt with. The back deck is on its last legs. It's just the standard deck that was put on these homes that were built back in the late 70s.
Okay.
The stairs were replaced 15 years ago. But the actual decking on underneath the siding, again, back.
So this guy keeps going
I can do the work myself,
and
but brand new.
And
There's practically no room on the backside of the sink to.
Oh my gosh!
Last night, my son and his family.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Again, another great reason why you want someone other than you, the business owner, doing these calls. I don't have 20 minutes to find out that there's, about how there's not enough room behind the sink to install one of those special kind of medicine cabinets. And, I can't even begin to give a shit about that today. I don't have 20 minutes of my life to hear about this. So that's why outsourcing this is the way to go.
Really, what's going to drive this is going to be my wife's situation.
Okay.
Oh my God! So all that was just his situation. Now we're gonna
yeah. What a typical dude. I mean, like he's worried about the medicine cabinet and the back deck and all of this, but really, what's going to be the driver of this situation is my wife's been in the hospital.
Oh yeah, this is the same guy. He says his wife's in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then he goes on for 20 minutes about fucking medicine cabinets. Unbelievable.
Oh wow. Okay.
Kidney failure. So she's been in the hospital since last Tuesday.
Ooh.
It's something that we knew was coming. She's been type 2 diabetic for years and done her best to manage it, but it's, that's an insidious disease that takes out organs one at a time, and kidneys are usually one of the first ones to go.
I sincerely hope he doesn't give us 5 minutes of medical insights as to what kidney failure does to a human body.
Yeah, right.
Kidneys in the eyes. So I was just about to head down to get the update from what she got from the doctors, and she just called. My report card grades were due, and so I'm getting home a little bit later than I normally would.
Because he's a school teacher. This guy's talking to my employee like he's known him for 20 years.
I know.
I got my report cards due.
How many Xanax did this guy take
before this call?
Well,
which I don't know. So.
Right. Best of luck. I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like it's a bit of a stressful time. Well, if I could, it at least sounds like it's a decent place. Why?
I'll tell you what, this employee freaking crushed it, bro. I am, I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I leave a lot of this work up to my manager. Okay, I'm like a CEO. I'm not really in some of these details, but I am so impressed with his emotional sympathy, with his emotional intelligence, with his follow-up, and he is asking all the right questions. What he's saying right now is it seems like a decent place. Why are you guys considering selling? You told me your grades are due. You told me your wife had kidney failure, but that doesn't tell me why you want to sell the house, and
hi, I'm sorry to bother.
Yeah.
Just absolutely stunning. I am so impressed, and I mean it's cool for me to hear because it's my business.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good for all of us to hear. So here's the question that pops into my mind. Did you find a guy skilled enough to do this? or did you make a guy skilled enough to do this?
So here's the answer, and I'm glad you asked because it goes back to that training process I never finished talking about. So we have one rule at LeadMiner. Well, I guess two rules. Number one, you have to type 45 words a minute, or you can't type fast enough to take a note while someone's talking, period. Okay.
Wow. Interesting.
Okay. If they can't type 45 words a minute, they should not be taking notes for you. They cannot do two things at once if they can't type that fast.
Okay, let's pause for a second because I preach this from the mountaintops, man. Your VA, if she's making calls for you to pre-qualify leads or to get leads, cold calls, what have you, their number one objective is to take a copious and incredible detailed amount of notes on the lead sheet.
Yeah. Absolutely. No.
If you don't have that, you don't have squat.
Yeah. Oh, bro. You know, the cool thing about me, Justin, which I don't know if you remember from my first time I was on a couple months ago, is I cold called 7,000 dials a month for 3 months before I created this company. So I've taken the bad note. I have firsthand fucked myself with bad notes on myself. Not a VA. I remember I called this guy and I took bad notes, and then I call him back and I go, hey, this is Jerry. No, it's not Jerry. It's Jimmy. Click, boom. Killed the freaking lead. You call the guy the wrong name. You say the wrong address. Yeah. You say the wrong thing. You need to be so ready. Your notes need to be so clear. And you know what? You're going to tell yourself, I'll know what I meant. I'll know what I meant. No, the fuck you won't. You are not going to know what you meant in 3 months when you follow back up with your own notes. Be explicitly clear. Don't use abbreviations. And talk to yourself like you're a 6-year-old in the notes. That's how I train my team.
Yeah. I've gone through boxes and things like in my garage before and found little notes or little index cards where I'd written down something. And I've looked at it and I've been like, what the hell did that mean? What was I thinking on that day? I don't even have any clue what that was.
And the funny thing is, when you're writing it, cut back 10 years ago, you're like, I'm going to know exactly. I'm so clever. I'm going to know exactly what I know.
Well, the funny thing is, on that day that I wrote it, it was the most important headline of my thoughts for the entire day, at least.
Right.
And now I have no clue what it means.
Yeah.
So the VA's got to take these copious amounts of incredible good notes. But back to the question at hand, find them, make them.
So what you need to find is someone who's eager. Okay. I have one rule. After you can type, I need you to have one skill set, and that's eager. I don't give a shit what it's eager for. If you want it and you're eager, you're going to get it. So what I do next is I have a onboarding process that forces my employees to be eager or they don't get the job. Okay. So I'll walk you guys through it real quick. And so all my employees are ready.
Golly, get out the pad and the pen and start taking some notes because this is going to be the bombshell here.
Yeah. And I actually call this the gauntlet. Okay. And
I love it. I love the gauntlet.
Because they really have to pass this part, and it's not difficult. It's super easy. So, for example, someone says, "Nick, I want a job as a cold caller." Great, you got the job. Congratulations, it's yours. Okay, now I need you to go type. Go take this typing test. You have to get 45 words a minute in order to start. Okay. We never follow up with that person again. We will never message that person again ever if they don't message us back. So after we tell you to do something, if you don't come back and say, I did it, here's my result, you're fired already. You're already fired. So that's the first step in the gauntlet. Hey, I want to do this. Great. Go take a typing test. Let me know what you get. I'm not going to message that guy in a week and go, how'd the typing test go? We never heard from you. No, he's not the right candidate for the job, period. He doesn't have what it takes. Then he comes back and says, okay, Nick, here's my typing test. All right, great job. Now I need you to watch this hour-long video. It's actually of me. We should, I don't know if we can, but we should premiere it on your show and then commentate on it like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Back in the day. Bro,
that'd be great.
I was broke. I was hiring my first employees and my company was just starting to take off. I had to hire my first round and I hired 3 Americans offline, friends of mine or friends of friends, and I just trained them all from scratch. And I have that recording and I still use it today to train everyone. Okay. It's like amazing. So anyways, I've got this video. Then we passed the typing test.
Can I point out a simple thing here that someone may miss? And that is, you made a video, not I make a video for every time we onboard somebody. You saved, so duplicate this, y'all. If you're out there doing that, don't be trying to train every single one brand new.
Yeah.
Record your training so you don't have to waste your time redoing it, right? Is it okay if we steal your ideas?
Please
Okay.
steal. Please do, because you guys, we have to buy our time back, which whatever way we can. I did such a good job training everyone the first time. My heart was so in it. I'm like, I went from making $700 a week to $70,000 a month. So like, I was fucking in there like swimwear. Like, I couldn't duplicate the quality of that training if I ever did it again anyways. I feel like it was that good because I was so in the moment. But so I do the training. Watch the 90-minute training. Let me know when you're done. Same thing. Okay, they take a 45-minute word test. They have to follow up with me. We then give them a 90-minute video. They then have to come back and say, okay, I watched the video. So after they watch the video, we then train them for 3 days straight for about 5 hours a day. Okay, and this is when they're working closely with my manager, Sherry, making sure that she's doing that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. She's listening to every call. They're getting 100% of her attention, and they're actually live cold calling, and I see some people, and I'm sure people watching can relate. Nick, I just need someone to role play. No. There's no role play. Call live. Call. You want to role play? Role play with someone who wants to sell their fucking house. Okay. Go role play with them. What people do is they get stuck in a role play. They then get addicted to role playing rather than make the call. And you know what? The role play doesn't help you because you're still going to be so nervous because you're not on a live call that you're still going to have to work those nerves out. Okay. So the role play hurts you. It doesn't help you. Okay. So you've got to just make the call. All right. The questions. You don't need a role play. You need a list of questions in front of you. And you can download them for free off my website, leadminingpros.com. Seriously.
Go there. Yeah, it's leadminingpros.com right here. Check it out. See, I'm taking notes too. The onboarding VA, the typing test, 90-minute video, 3-day training, 5 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. Justin, you're one of the most comprehensive people I've ever worked with. You comprehend everything. I freaking love it. I love that you're listening to my calls just to play them. I didn't even know that was coming, dude. I freaking love it.
Dude, it's awesome because it's real. And I like it because it's the real thing that you guys are doing. And we get to listen to it, but it's not just like listening to somebody's VA. It's like listening to the best of the best that there is.
I agree.
Okay, and that's how we get better is when we look at somebody that's on the next level. And then we imitate the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. It's no fluke. Our people are great. We make sure they're eager. We make sure they're listening. And you know what else I do? Which we've only fired 2 people in the 3 years we've been open. That's it. And, we really make sure that it's a good candidate coming in. We're not going to waste any time on anyone that we have any questions about. There is an amazing employee waiting for all of you, and I feel like a lot of times as leaders, we settle for people around us. And the truth is, no, they should be freaking amazing. What I was saying in my VA company or my roofing company, we had this VA and she's been working for us for 4 months. And miraculously, she's as good as the first day. How is she still only as good as she was on her very first day? After 4 fucking months, you should be a master at doing the same damn job 40 hours a week.
What's it sound like? Imitate it for us.
Well, so I called her boss. What I did in this case. And what I said, I'm very concerned about Johanna's performance. She's currently working 40 hours a week, and I think she's only doing 20 hours a week worth of actual work. That doesn't mean that she's stealing the other 20, but her systems are wrong. Her attitude, something is wrong because we're not getting the job done. Most importantly, we need the position to grow. And we cannot grow the position if she's already at 40 and still making mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And we have to think, it needs to work right now. Fuck no, it doesn't. We're about to 10X our business. You think someone who's capped out right now being at half X is worth being on your team? They're not. You got to think about where you're going and where you're growing.
Yeah, man, you make me think that you have the team that you expect to have, basically.
Great point.
So I mean, those expectations that you just expressed there are fueled by positivity, passion, goals, direction, crystal clear instructions. If I got to work for somebody, that's who I want to work for. Somebody that gives me that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just like, hey, we're about to 10X, bro. Like, we can't be bogged down. And then you know what the truth is? I talked to him and I didn't even say fire her or remove her. I just shared my concerns and he said, we're getting you a new one. She's going to train them. It's going to be on me. Like, he brought it all up. I wasn't even irate. Well, sometimes I do yell, but I wasn't irate because it was so clear what was happening. Like, it's just not working. I can't deal with anyone who's capped off. I know how great employees can be. So don't show up like a fucking turd and try to make me think that you're great.
Right.
But so anyways, cut to the next day. Okay. Johanna, the VA, is like the best. She's like the best she's ever been. She's taking notes. She's delivering emails. She's doing everything for the first time ever. Now, does that mean I was wrong? Fuck no, it doesn't. It means I was right. Does that mean that she's fixed? Fuck no, it doesn't. It means I got to keep an eye on it. Right? And so, sometimes we can go, oh, I was too hard on her. Let me apologize. No, this problem ain't solved yet. One day of performance with 4 months of lacking? No. She's going to have to kick ass for the next 30 days straight and then continue to kick ass for the next rest of her life if she wants to keep a spot on the team, And it took that conversation, whether she was serving multiple clients at once, whether she was being out of integrity and not doing her job properly, whatever it was, isn't my problem. What is my problem is that it's not getting done. And that being said, don't fight your employees on their personal problems. Well, if you just wouldn't have drank last night, well, if you just would be more organized. No, they're probably just not the right person.
Exactly. The chemistry is not right.
Right. This wouldn't be happening. You're not there to fix their personal life. You're there to say, just like Justin said, it's all business. The numbers aren't working. Look, I love getting drunk with you. but you know what? I don't like doing business with you. So I'm not going to do business with you anymore. But if you'd like, I'd still get drunk with you. You know, but you know, we also have to understand, you know, like we have to understand how relationships work and when they don't work. You know, I have a great friend who I've known for like 28 years. And, you know, there's times where his ego is so out of control that I cannot be in the same room as him. Okay. Yeah. And then there's other times where he's so vulnerable, he's the only person I want to hang out with. Well, instead of hanging out with him while his ego is out of control and hating him, I don't do that. I just don't hang out with him. And I wait for him to enter the right mind space in order to be a good friend. And that's the chemistry you were just talking about. We can't force this. Yeah. Okay. And we have to work with it or find the person who's going to do it. One last quote I'll just share before we move on to the next topic. One of my favorite bosses said to me once, and it confused me at first. He said, Nick, I either need to change my people or I need to change my people. Okay? And it really was so confusing. And what he's saying is, I either need my people to improve or I have to get an improved person to sit in that seat instead. You know, and we so often just deal with people the way that they are. And like I was saying earlier, we have to look at our trajectory. Do you want to make twice as much next year? Well, that employee should at least be able to handle 50% more if you want to do twice as much next year. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I equate it to building a machine, a factory with machines in it, you know. And some maybe we could say it's a factory that makes cars. Are you a factory that makes Yugos? Y'all remember the Yugo? Tiny little thing, you know. Or maybe you make Pintos, or maybe you make Chevy Chevettes, you know. or maybe you could up your game, you know, and expect your team to do more. Okay. And here, let me add this too. Inspect what you expect. Mm-hmm. There's no other way. It's not going to work if you don't inspect what you expect, right? But with that being said, you can't expect what you haven't made crystal clear.
Yeah, right.
And you also need the right people. But, okay, so I'm sorry, I got derailed a little bit here, but, okay, we got 1, 2, and 3. What's 4?
For the training,
okay. For the on the onboarding. So you onboard a new caller. They take a typing test, 45 words a minute, and then the second thing is they watch a 90-minute training video, like right away. Yeah. And then once they get hired on or more onboarded, it's 3 days of training, which is about 5 hours a day. You might want to describe to us a little bit of this too, but is there a number 4, or is that a complete onboard?
You know, that is basically a complete onboard. Okay. But I guess there is a final step, and that is being approved once you're done with your 5-hour days. You know what I mean? Is you know, the end. At the end of it, I asked my girl to really assess what's their eagerness like, what's their desire like, how are they taking feedback. You know, there's a lot. There's a lot to learn. And, you know, there's a famous saying, and that is, the first 2 weeks anyone works for you is the hardest they're ever going to work for you. So if you're not impressed in the first 2 weeks, they got to go.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to get better.
Right.
Okay. It's just not. So, you know, the final thing would be a final evaluation. Would really be number 4.
I see.
And that is
probation period is what I call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're going on probation for the first, I'll tell you what, you're going on probation for the first 2 weeks. Maybe let's just say the first 30 days. And then after the first 30 days, what I do is, we'll pay you $3 an hour the first month. And if you get out of probation, you're doing good. You like us, we like you. Then I'll bump you up to $5 an hour for the second month.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is. What do you think about that, Nicholas?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. So one thing I like to do, raises can be real iffy, and we can't forget with VAs. Even though it's only $1 an hour to us, it's a shitload of money to them. So going from $3 an hour to $4 an hour is a 33% raise. Anyone in this room ever gotten a 33% raise before? No. Yeah, I didn't think so. So we need to make sure that we're holding standards properly. Then what happens? We're going to give them $4 the next month, and then $5, and then $6. Now we might as well have an American, right? So my recommendation is that we do them at 10 to 20% raises at a time.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Smart.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to go, it's just $1. To them, it's huge. That's huge.
What about bonuses? What about, when we close a deal, I'll give you $300.
Yeah. Oh, that's gross. That's gross. I hate that management tactic. You know what? You want to bonus your employee? Surprise bonus them. That will mean more to them than looking at them going, one day I'm going to close a deal. And when that happens, you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Okay? That's a fucking insult to employees. Okay? That's right. We don't care. No offense. And I'm sorry, but we don't care when you're going to close a deal. Okay? All right? And if anything, what it does by accident is it teaches your employee to resent you. Oh, yeah. You probably get that one coming. Yeah. Now your employee's going, is this guy going to close a fucking deal already? Huh? I'm trying to make some fucking money and he sucks. You know, it changes the entire dynamic of the relationship.
Wow.
So instead of me just beating you up, here's what I recommend, because I'm sure I just hurt a lot of people's feelings. Pay them an hourly wage. They're going to feel so good. They can relate to an hourly wage. Why? Because everyone else pays them an hourly wage too. So they get it. If you want to give them a bonus, keep your damn mouth shut. Okay? Keep your damn mouth shut. And when you close a deal, walk up to them with $100 bill and stick it in their freaking pocket and say, surprise, motherfucker, great job. Okay? Don't tell this person that one day they're going to get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I think that is a very rude tactic to treat an employee. And I know it sounds good and it seems like a great idea, but man, think about how you would feel if someone said that to you one day. You know, go ahead, Philip.
Well, since you're talking about that and employees, now, are you talking about VAs that are foreign, overseas? Because there are some VAs that are all American and they know they make American dollars, right? So if you give them that 20% raise or that bonus for an American, it's like, okay, well, awesome, I'm going to work more. But then you're saying maybe overseas, it's like, holy shit, I just got a shitload of money. So it means more to them.
I appreciate, you're talking about the financial scale difference. To me, it's all the same because I think everyone would get bonus commensurately. Like, I feel like I would give a VA $50 and I give an American $200. So to me, it is similar. But you know what I'm saying is, don't dangle the carrot, because that's what it feels like when you are an employee. You know, if someone says, if you do this, I'll give you that. You know, if you want to bonus that employee, bonus him off things that are in his control. Okay? Not you closing a deal. Wow. Right? You want to bonus them? Look, bro, get me 100 qualified leads. I'll get you a bonus. Right? You know, don't bonus him off of your performance.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but you know, Philip, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like it's even worse for Americans because I don't think they have that culture in the Philippines, or else they wouldn't make $3 an hour. I feel like the Americans, like, we're like so money motivated that we can accidentally turn into like Gollum from Lord of the Rings if too much money is dangled in front of us. Then we start to get jaded and we become like monsters. And
yeah, because it's a different mindset.
Right.
Over there, their economy sucks, so American dollars is awesome. Over here, if you dangle it and they don't get it, then they get discouraged. So
Right.
they may not want to do that.
And my people, just so you guys know, I've never bonused anyone everything. I pay my Filipinos $6 an hour. I pay my Americans $15 to $20 an hour. Never bonused anyone anything. I think I've given my top girl who's been with me for 3 years. I throw her a couple $100 every once in a while because she's amazing and deserves it. But it's not about the bonus. But you know what? You know what I do? Where I come through, where I'd rather spend dollars? Nick, my chair broke. I'll buy you a new chair. I'll ship it to the house. Nick, my laptop just went down. Right. I'll buy you a new laptop. It'll be there tomorrow.
New headset or something for Christmas or something, right?
Yeah, like I have a full-time assistant that works for me right now, and he's my personal chef. And what I do with him is I pay a cell phone bill, and anytime he says he wants something out loud around me, I normally buy it for him. Do I pay this guy a lot of money? No, I don't. I buy him every meal. I make sure his rent is paid. I cover some other stuff. I pay him fairly, and anything he wants, if I'm around, I pick it up. So I try to perk the shit out of employees. I'd rather perk them than bonus them. And I've learned from an employee perspective is you'd rather be surprised. Remember when you were an employee, it's really a little simple, but I'd rather be surprised with something wonderful than be told I might maybe get something wonderful one day if something happened. Okay. And so just be there, for your people. Don't dangle the carrot. It seems like it would work,
y'all have heard me teach VA management a lot, probably. And you thought that was next level.
You're so good, Justin.
But the shit that he's laying out right here, y'all already know that it's yet again
next level.
Another next level.
No, well, dude, you're exactly right. But let's talk about one of the big perks, which is why you want to hire lead mining. You don't have to worry about any of this shit. You hire us, you don't have to worry about paying a dialer. You don't have to worry about scripts, training, development, anything. Human resources, productivity, KPIs, none of that is on your radar anymore. And the same reason why I have a chef and a personal assistant, you think I can think about fucking laundry? You think I can fucking think about what I'm having for dinner tonight? That may sound stupid, but I don't. I don't even give a shit what's for dinner. I know it's going to be made every night. I know it's going to be amazing. I don't have time to go, do I have the groceries? Do I need to go to the grocery store? Do I have the pots and pans clean? Are my dishes clean? Where's the silverware at? What am I going to make? What's the side going to be? I don't got that fucking energy. So I hire someone to do it. Just how you guys should hire us, because you don't have the energy to find a dialer software that works, to learn the skill yourself so you can train someone else on it, to reinforce that training, to then pay them an hourly wage. How about to be able to monitor they're doing the work that's even worth paying for? And so when you hire lead mining, I take all of that off your plate. I handle it. And most importantly, a lot of you may not know, a lot of you may, that's my cell phone on the website. So whenever there's an issue, you're not dealing with some foreigner who doesn't give a shit about your request. You're dealing with me, who literally has bought a house on the water. I don't know if you can see that out there, who is doing everything that I can to keep my dream alive by keeping your dream alive. That's like my number one goal.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Guys, one last thing. I hate to go back to this because I should have spoke up back then, but this number 3, the 3-day training, 5 hours a day, you said this before, but I wanted to point this out, that you're not training them like in a classroom setting. They're not being trained like through role playing hours and hours, 5 hours a day, three days in a row. They're being trained by being on the phone, making live calls with a manager, trainer, watching, listening, coaching, teaching. Am I right?
Yeah. And you know what? You should actually change that to 3 days of live action training.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's not 3 days of theory. You know what the theory is? It's the 90-minute video that I created.
Exactly.
And in that 90-minute video is like everything. It is everything that you need. It talks about the emotions of the seller. It talks about taking good notes. It talks about everything. There's nothing else left to talk about after that 90-minute video. There's only doing.
So, yeah. So there's a trainer manager actually actively listening to the calls during those days and doing this training and coaching along.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
Every step of the way. And you know what? To be honest with you, Justin, it's required. You know, you guys are paying for this amazing service. I cannot afford to put a piece of shit on the phone for you. You cannot afford to hire someone that sucks, right? Yeah. So like I do all of this because I legitimately care about every person's results. You know, the truth is I love money, but you know what I love more? Helping people make money. So that's the priority. If money was the priority, I would sell things at a high price and deliver at a low angle, right? But the truth is that really wouldn't work in the long run. That's short-sightedness. Yeah. But I know that my goal is to service so hard that I can't help but become a multi-millionaire. That's my goal. I want to service all you guys so hard that you have to tell your friends at the RIA about my service. You have to make a post about the amazing lead you just got. Like that's like my fire. You know, I do this to really support you in a sense.
I was talking to Claude Diamond yesterday. I don't know if you know Claude, but Claude said this. He's a mentor of mine. He said, we were talking about a certain topic I won't go into, but he said, you know, I made a comment. I said, you know, it's not, I said, Claude, you know, it's not about the money. He said, yes, it is. I said, well, yeah, but it's kind of the principle thing, you know, so on and so forth. He said, yeah, it's about they make money, you make money. What else is there? You know, and I was like, dude, how many times have I approached my business without that attitude?
Right. Yeah.
How many times have I let my VA team or my outsourced team play around like where I didn't have that attitude? It's right. You know.
Well, you know, even dealing with sellers too, Justin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to buy that house unless they're making money. You know, no one's going to like walk away. Very rarely is someone going to walk away from a deal at zero, you know? And so like even taking that attitude into your home buying philosophy, you know, I think is also a really big step for wholesalers too. Not always just like on the employee side, but like I need to make this homeowner some money. And I know if I make him money, I'm going to make money. And then the buyer's going to make money. You know, it's like so many people get fed by that thought process, you know?
Steve, did you have a question? I saw you turned your camera on, man.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound like it's crazy. This fucking guy gets it.
Yeah.
He fucking gets it. I love this guy. I want to adopt him. You know?
We already did, man. We adopted him. That's why you've seen him 3 times in the last few months. And I told him, I said, look, we need to have you on regular, like, you know, you don't need to be here every week, but you know, like pretty frequently pop on here because you fit right in.
Well, I got on the call late today. All right. I got on about 20 minutes after, whatever it is. And I'm listening to this guy. He sounds like he's in my backyard. I know he's in Florida. I'm in New York. Okay. I go, this guy's, he gets it. He really gets it. I've owned businesses where I've had hundreds of employees, and it's very, very tough, especially as an owner. Yeah. And you get it. So, I mean, is this 90-minute video you're talking about, is that on your website? Can I see that? Or
I am actually going to talk to Justin about us premiering.
I'm pushing you over the edge. I want to see this video. I'm
Yeah,
at 38, and I don't even know where to start. I've had them before, and they've been a disaster. And it was probably 2/3 my fault.
Sure.
So it's just time and putting it all together, and everybody's going in 1,000 different directions, you know. So
that's exactly right. And and just to share with you, Steve, it's really funny because I'm sure we all do this to our kids, but I was always the kid that when my dad came home with the new stereo, he handed it right to me. Right? All right, Nate.
Your family?
I'm the youngest, and my two sisters were older, and they ran away a lot. I know runaways aren't as common nowadays because everyone has cell phones. But back in the day, before there were cell phones, kids could run away. Memory lane. Anyways,
in the family, I was the oldest of 5, and everything was, here you go do this, go do that. I don't know how many oldest in the families there are here, but they can relate, you know.
Yeah, and and no, you're good. And so I end up, he hands me the stereo. Nick, let me know when it's set up. I want to listen to it. Well, now I do that same thing for my clients, right? Just how you said, God, everyone's moving in a different direction. I have over 15 employees, and we tie 6 different softwares and systems together to perform what we do. So you don't have to. We got to pull the list. We got to get it skip traced. We got to upload it to Call Tools. We got to work with Excel. We got to upload it to our text messaging platform. We've got to have quality assurance. We've got to do the trainings. All these things kick off. And that's like one of the perks. So, Steve, I'd even recommend, I'll get you a copy of this video when we get off, if you can get me your email. And anyone else who wants to see it that's here today, I'll get you a link to it.
But let's for real do the debut, man.
Wow, dude, I'm like, let me tell you, like, I am in, and I'm super available. I would love to do it on a weeknight. Let's get some craft beer and just like sit here,
dude. That's so next level.
We'll start with the Johnny Walker, and we'll work our way up.
Oh my gosh.
But Steve, thank you so much for your comments, man. I really appreciate it. I've been around the block. I ran restaurants for 16 years. I'm only 35, but I've already put in my time. A lot of my friends are like, Nick, how'd you get here? Dude, I put my time in advance. I was crazy smart. I put in the years to put in when I had them to put in. Now I'm like retired.
Now you got a fire in your belly. And these are your peak earning years.
Yeah.
And when I was your age, I'm a little older than you, like by twice. When I was your age, I was like a locomotive. Forget it. And I worked 7 days a week for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And it was, different times. A lot of guys could probably relate with that, but different times. So what you're doing, in this day and age, if you're a problem solver, why wouldn't people want to hear? I want to hear all about your program. So
absolutely. And that being said, I will actually tell you guys about it briefly. I'll tell you guys about my number one software, and if you guys want, actually, Justin, can I get the share screen? I might as well walk them through it. Oh, I already got it.
Yeah, you got it, dude. You got it. We're not talking about
this, right?
It's live streaming right now on YouTube and Facebook, and you can watch the replay as soon as it's done.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
But so I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit about my website here. This is at leadminingpros.com. Okay. We're the company's Lead Mining. The leadmining.com was taken, so I had to get creative. Anyone out there who gets obstacles in the way, you just got to overcome them. So you can find out there's a lot of information here. This is a video that just welcomes you. Down here, this is a video of one of our clients who's been with us for 3.5 years. He closed 54 deals in 2019 using our service. Just wildly successful. This is a live interview I did with him. If you guys want to see our products, you can click our pricing page, I think, or go down to, it's loading. So you can click the pricing page. This video explains everything, but I'm going to kind of do that live right here. So at Lead Mining, we offer a lot of different services. I joke and I call it a create your own adventure book for investors. Okay. Because we have no contracts, no commitments. You can purchase a la carte. You can purchase all together. It doesn't matter. Okay. We really tried to bring these amazing services to all of you guys at a non-contractual, low cost basis. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is what I'm calling our all-inclusive services. I have 6 of them. The top one is Americans and the bottom one is Filipinos. Otherwise, they are exactly the same. The only difference is one has a Filipino cold callers and the other one has American cold callers. And you see the prices start $160. You can get 375 records pulled, 375 records skipped, 500 cold calls, and 300 managed text messages. Now, what's a managed text message? Well, one service I offer is done for you texting. So we will actually text blast everyone, have the entire conversation with them, so you don't have to. And then at the end, send you the entire transcript of the lead that we generated. So we're going to pull the list, skip trace the list, get the phone numbers, call everyone at least twice, up to 3 times each. And then we're going to text blast everyone once. And all of that happens for only $160.
But wait.
There's more. That's right.
Drop the shoe.
Yeah. And the more is it just gets cheaper as you go. Each package to the right is twice as big as the one to the left. And if you notice, the price is not twice as much. Okay. So each time you chunk up, it gets cheaper. Now, the cool thing about this is you can do all of these weekly or monthly. It doesn't matter to me. So you could come in and go, I got $300 a month. Guess what, dude? I got you. And $300 a month, especially Steve, you're saying you own a business. That's not much for a marketing budget, but you know what? It might get you somewhere. $305 a month to get 250 dials a week. If we break this down over a week, we get 125 texts a week. And that's a lot more than just doing nothing, saying where the lead's at. So there's really cool stuff. So on top of this, which is heavily discounted, and if you see the savings here, if you were to buy these prices individually on my website, you would spend $105 more on this Bermuda Bazooka. Okay. And so now after the all-inclusive, we have individuals. Let's say you already have a list. Let's say it's already skip traced. Well, you would probably just buy only cold calling. So I offer Filipino dials and American dials for you to pick whichever one works best for you. And, the main difference is the Americans do generate on average twice as many leads as the Filipinos do, but they cost twice as much. What does that mean?
Why is that, Nick? Why is that when the Filipinos sound American? What's the difference?
Sound good.
Is it the cultural differences or like?
To be honest with you, the price difference. Okay, hold on. So let me get clear. What's the difference for what? The result difference or the price difference?
Yeah, the result difference.
The result difference. It's probably best to word it like this. A Filipino person isn't necessarily someone who wants to do the job.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But the American is someone who's actually treating it like a career. Wow. And that's probably the biggest difference. The Filipino person, they'll get on, they'll say that, and my Filipinos are amazing. They've got over 2 million cold calls themselves under their belt.
A Filipino would rather go fish and lay in the sun. And
yeah, this is like what we were talking about earlier. The Filipinos are money first. Okay?
No, you said the Americans are money first.
Well, what I mean is, the Filipinos are doing it for the money. The Americans are doing it for their families. They're doing it for other things. The Filipino, I feel like it feels more transactional
like they're getting enough money to get by and live their lives.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. And so, like, the Filipinos, like, they're doing it all for the dollar rather than doing it for the why. And I feel like the Americans do it for the why, which allows them to really be more present. They can perform at a higher level. And because, even though the Filipinos sound great, I used to joke so I only had Americans for the first year and a half. And I used to joke and I'd say, I'd only let a Filipino call for me if he came to America and sat on a bar stool for his first 6 months. Okay. Because that's the one thing that the Filipinos are missing. They know how to ask the questions, but they don't have that emotional intelligence on American. So like that call we listened to where the woman had the liver failure, the Filipino wouldn't have said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. It sounds like you're going through a hard time," like the American did. That's probably a perfect example. You know what I mean? Yeah. The Filipino would have been like, "Okay, she's in the hospital, so how much you want to sell it for?" You know what I mean? The Filipino is probably going to take more of the direct approach, and the American's going to provide some finesse. So I think that's the number one reason why. And, but to really argue your point, there are times where the Filipinos do score as many leads as the Americans do. It's not often, but, there are some cities and some states where you're really better off hiring the Filipino anyways. And anyone who ever gets on the phone with me, I actually recommend Filipinos. If you're going to try us out, try the cheapest package. Like I'm not that sales guy that says, "Man, it's going to take $3,000 to get started." Honestly, it might take $3,000 to make $10,000. I'm not lying about that, but it doesn't take $3,000 to get started. You know what I mean? And so with us, you can really do this on a weekly level. Like, so if you have your own list, look at this, $60 a week for a month. That's $240 a month. That's like paying for Mojo Dialer.
So if they've got PropStream and they get 10,000 records and all that, they can bring that data.
That's right. Now, I recommend, if you have PropStream, I think they have 17-cent skip tracing. Well, we offer 7-cent skip tracing. Okay. Wow. Bring your list over. Okay. Bring it over to us. We have amazing accuracy rates. We have an over 70% average match rate whenever you supply a list. So if it's 1,000, we're going to get 700 phone numbers. And out of those 700, we've proven that we get a 70% accuracy rate. And there's a chance that I can really stick my money where my mouth is right now and show you guys those numbers directly, rather than just saying, this guy's full of shit. Everyone says that about their skip tracing. Everyone says it's accurate. But let me drop a little knowledge on you guys for skip tracing. People say it's accurate. What does that mean? You just provided me 7 fucking phone numbers.
Exactly.
How the fuck? So if I get 1 of 7, is that accurate? Or are you saying, right? Or
I think so.
Or are you saying because you delivered a phone number that it's accurate? Which one is it? But let me show you these tangible, actual reports, if I can remember how to get there.
This is Call Tools, everybody, by the way.
Yeah, this is Call Tools. And, man, it is amazing. And it's a perfect for – let's see if anyone's cold calling right now. Let's take a look. Look, we got 4 people working right now, cold calling. These all of them just got off the phone with someone.
Sherry, Chase, Brinzy, and Ben.
Yeah. And Chase is actually Sherry's son. We keep it in the family over here. And these guys, they're out crushing it right now. So that's them doing that. Now let's look for this report. Let's see what I can find here. I don't really know where. Again, guys, I don't really spend a lot of time in the weeds in my business. We've been open for 3 years, so I don't do a lot of this stuff as intensely anymore. but I still know that our numbers are wonderful and consistent. I think this is going to be my page here. Post call available, or maybe call stats. Sorry for the delay. Okay, this is it. So we got these big guys here. No answer. Where is it? Disconnected, busy, answered, failed. Where are you at? Blocked. They don't even, wrong number isn't even.
Victor said this whole training is next level. All right.
Oh,
all right, Victor.
Victor, I'm going to tell the police officer you're the reason for the DUI later.
I just got water, guys.
You know, this thing isn't showing me what I thought it would. Duplicate, block, disconnected, answered, no answer. So I'm going to have to find this. God, I wish I knew.
It's nice to get we're getting kind of a tour of Call Tools, though. If
sure, yeah, great point.
Call Tools. Call Tools. Can you record? It's it's got a CRM and all that with it, but can you record the VA? It is recording.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
It records every second of the day.
So you're seeing who's actively on the phone right now, and that is all being recorded, so it can be monitored either presently or after the fact.
Yes, exactly. So, and I tell this to my clients too. Do we offer the recordings automatically? No, we don't, because I can't automate the process. However, if anyone wants a recording, they only just have to ask us for it. And then, they can get it. We don't, agent dispositions. Oh my God, it's been right here in front of me. Please forgive me, everybody. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick. Not a wrong number. 11%. Okay, you guys are seeing this for yourselves. So if everybody we dial, only 11% of the people who pick up the phone are telling us it's a wrong number. Okay, that is a really big deal.
So 89% accuracy on the skip trace.
Well, here's what I do. I'll be honest with you. You remember I said 70%? Okay. That's how fair I am. If you're wondering how great my morals and integrity is, I'm even tripling this by saying, you know what? Maybe realistically, it's 30% of a wrong number. You with me? So I even triple it, and I still say 70%, even though, and this is one. So there was one person. Here's another person. Okay, wrong number. Look, this one's even smaller. 2% of this guy's calls end up in a wrong number.
And how many calls? There was 500 and there's a lot, hundreds of numbers called.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say this is probably on a pool of 700 maybe total. And that's just one person. I mean, we can go down. And I mean, this is pretty transparent in case anyone's wondering. I don't really know, what companies are like, let's go ahead. Now, this one's 17%. Okay, which seems high compared to the other two. However, it's still below 30. Yeah. Exactly. So, then we look up, this guy's getting a follow-up lead 5% of the time, not interested 31% of the time, no answers 40% of the time, DNC 5%, so, and then there's other types of leads. Okay, let's say they didn't get any of those. But yeah, so we can go through and look through these, and I mean, and I just want to show you guys, how accurate, what accuracy actually means. Okay. So I'm not just talking out of my butt, right? I'm not making this stuff up. I've got like tangible numbers to prove everything.
I haven't heard anybody say talking out of my butt in so many years, man.
Well, I recently watched Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, where he literally talks out of his butt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to show this to you guys. We offer a very cool, very dynamic service, and I really try to bring the best of the best to, real estate investors. I know what it's like to be a business owner. If you guys call me and they say, Nick, what's the best plan for me? My answer's the same every time. Whichever leaves the most money in your bank account is the best plan for you. This is not a cash grab for me. All right. I've been blessed in life, and we do about $15,000 to $20,000 a week in sales. So, when someone comes by and gives me $60, as much as I appreciate it, it's not like the end all be all for me. I can provide that in a level of abundance without being in scarcity. I have all this other stuff going on. And so when you guys come and you're a part of this system, do you know how many transactions I have to do to get to $20,000 on a $60 price point? And we still do that every week. So like we really put our money where our mouth is, and we show up, and we're open to feedback. I think one of the main reasons why we've gotten so good so fast is because when people said we sucked, I listened. When people said it was time to improve, or they wanted the script to go differently, I didn't say my way's better. I said, let's talk about it. I'd love to be better, And so I've constantly strived to, get to that level.
Any questions for Nicholas? Nick, I know we've been going for several minutes now. Almost 2 hours. And so I want to open the floor for sure and make sure anybody that has a question, if you're on YouTube, you can put it in the chat. I'm looking at YouTube right now. If you're in the
Zoom a question.
Go for it, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
When you generate the 3 to 6 leads, are those people that's, yes, I want to sell my house, or this is maybe?
So what we consider a lead is anyone who wants to sell now or in the future. So I guess the maybe would be the in the future category, as it probably sounds like, but we do try to vet them out. And after we ask those 2 questions, we then go into 12 additional questions about the property, and we try to continue to qualify them. However, once they say they want to sell, you're going to get that lead no matter what, even if they say some asinine shit throughout the next 12 questions we ask. Because one thing I try to remind my clients of is we don't qualify the leads. We ask the qualifying questions, and then we deliver it to you. The reality is, I don't know how good my customers are at converting leads.
Or what strategies they're proficient in even.
Exactly. So why, and that's why I tell them, well, Nick, I don't want these types of leads. Well, okay, do you want me to delete it? Well, no, don't delete it. Okay, well, which is it? And so, some of the things is really to, open up your mind. And so when a client calls me and they say, Nick, I want to close more deals, what should I do? My first answer is look at every deal you didn't close last year and look at what you're missing. Getting more leads doesn't mean you're going to close more deals. Yeah, if you're only going to buy low and sell high, that works. But you know what? If you're going to buy low, sell high, owner finance, pass off to a realtor, become a realtor, list, know a lender, know a construction worker, you got all these additional things going on. Now you're going to make more money. Mm-hmm. But if you only have one strategy, okay, let's say you only have one strategy. Yeah. Let's say you only have one strategy and you're going out there and you're like, oh, great, I want to close more deals. I only buy low, sell high. That's actually not going to make you more money as a percentage because you're not capitalizing on all those dead leads. If you can grow and convert the dead leads, that's when you're going to make more money. Yeah, you might close more deals, but guess what else is going to go up if you have one strategy? Your marketing budget's going to go up because you're going to still be leaving money on the table with all the leads you don't know how to close.
That's why I call it being a full spectrum wholesaler.
Yeah.
You might call it being a professional wholesaler.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would. Being a professional, right? Exactly. And if you guys go to my website, one thing you'll find is I take my own advice. So if you go to my website and you say, Nick, I need a list, I got you. Nick, I need skip tracing, I got you. I need cold calling, got it. Text messaging, got it. Facebook ads, got it. Nick, I want to do it all myself. Guess what? I got a course. that teaches you to do it all yourself. Okay?
Where's that at, man? Where do we find that?
That's actually right on the website. I'll pop it up real quick on the old screen share here. And right here, it says cold calling course right here at the top.
Okay.
It's actually the least clicked button on the website. I'm thinking about getting rid of it. But
click it. I want to see it, man.
You got it. So we clicked this course here, and this is actually written a while ago. What I learned off 1.5 million cold calls, we're at over 4 million now. But you know, the course.
How long does it take you guys to get 1 million? How many months?
You know,
I'm just. I don't need to know. I'm curious.
We average between $40,000 and $60,000 a week.
Wow.
is where we average. So let me do some math. I love doing math, so you're not challenging me. So 60,000, 16 weeks, we're doing $1 million.
Wow. Every 16 weeks, 1 million outbound phone calls.
Yeah. And so this course, check this out. There's an outline here after it sells it to you a little bit. And, you know, we got the intro to cold calling preparation, everything you need, list types, vacant lists, delinquent lists, other leads, skip tracing providers, results, CRM choices, how to pick your dialer, lead flow process, the right mindset, seller's emotions, note taking. See, it says explain like a 6-year-old. You guys heard me say that earlier. I'm super consistent. You guys probably don't need to buy this because I said all this over my last 4 visits here to the Justin Chamness Shut Up Money Show. But, you know, being thick-skinned, script. I walk you through our entire script, how to overcome rebuttals. I go over KPIs. I even look at this section. This is what Steve was talking about, hiring and developing employees. This is everything about training your own VA, how to hire them, how to pay them, how to schedule them. I literally have everything in this course. So if anyone comes to me, this is what I was saying about you, you should be able to convert any fucking lead, period. Okay? It doesn't matter. If you can't convert it, it's not the lead's fault. It's your fault. Okay? And so that's why when you go to my website, I can sell you one of 7 different things, because if you don't buy, it's my fault. It's not your fault. And so I created all of these strategies to make sure that you guys are well informed. You got everything you need. You want to spend $3,000? I got you. You want to spend $250 and do it yourself? I got you. You know? And so I tried to make this. I tried to take my own advice. And look at this. Steve, this is actually your video here. The bonus video. Lead Mining's first training video for our cold callers, 75 minutes long.
So you're going to send that to us?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's this course cost, man? Lower the other shoe. Drop.
It's really not much. I think it's. Where is the price on this damn thing?
This is just to whet your appetite. It's no longer available.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it was canceled. It's $250 one-time payment. And it's 300 or 3 payments of $100 a month.
Easily worth 100 times that.
You know, I price this, bro, as you can tell with all my prices. Okay, I'm not Apple. Okay, you know, as you can tell with all my prices, I price everything to service, not to get rich. You know, I could have made this course $1,000, but it would be in not as many people's hands. It wouldn't be benefiting people, you know? And if you guys are ever on my email list, let me look up what it is right now. I can give you guys a coupon code. Anyone that buys it, you'll get 50% off. You know, and I'll hook you guys up with the.
Say it again.
Yeah. So anyone who buys this course, I'll leave the coupon code active until what is today? Saturday. I'll leave it active until next Friday, and I'll give you guys 50% off this course. I'll create the coupon code. The coupon code will be Shut Up Money. Okay.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do that today. So anyone who wants this is gonna get the full thing. And and just so everyone knows, a couple things. Number one, if you're watching the course and you want to learn something else, call me. We'll talk about it. If it's really good stuff, I'll add it to the course. But don't shy away. If you pay for this course and you want to learn more, you can always call me. It's not like it's an exploding offer. I'm a fountain of information that
is there a module on how to spank ass?
Let's see if I added that to the VA. It's probably in how to train, if I were to guess. But one thing I did here, guys, that I want you to really pay attention to is how short each video is. Okay, I'm very to the point. I'm very blunt. Okay, and most importantly,
you're blunt.
Blunt, yeah, I'll take one. Most importantly, if you're looking for something and you forgot it, you can go right to it. Bad attitudes. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to check out. So as you're viewing the course, the micro videos actually help because now you don't have to sift through like a 20-minute video looking for like what you're looking for. It's just right there in front of you.
That's ass spanking 101, Victor says. I still want to, though, if you're up for it, I still want to debut that 75-minute training. And
I am 1,000%, and I'm down to do it this week, man.
All right. You want to do it for Christmas? Let's do it for Christmas, man.
Yeah, let's do it before Christmas.
We're going to try to take some time off, give the VIP coaches the last week off, and just everybody kind of be with family and refresh and everything. And so let's hit it hard. Let's do it before Christmas.
I would love to do it, honestly, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this week. Thursday, I'm going to Dallas, so I won't be available Thursday to Sunday.
Wednesday night.
Done, bro. I'm going to get the most delicious, strongest craft beer ever, and it's going to be amazing.
All right. You're in Florida, so 8 p.m. okay? Florida time?
My time?
Yeah, 8 p.m. Florida time, East Coast time.
Yeah, I could do 8 p.m. I probably prefer 7 if that works.
Can we do 6 o'clock in the Central Time Zone Wednesday? Yeah, we can. I can. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
All right.
If 8 o'clock, whatever works best for your audience. Let me rephrase my request. Whatever works best for your audience, I'll make happen.
You're a swell guy. Swell guy. What can you say?
Yeah, it's attendance that counts.
Let's do it. I think 6 o'clock's okay. It'll give people time to get off work and
Eastern time?
6 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday. So if you're East Coast, that's going to be 7 p.m. Okay. If you're on the West Coast, that's going to mean 4 p.m. Maybe we should kick it up to 7. We got a lot of West Coast.
No, I'm with you. I can do 8 p.m. If it's not confusing now, I can do 8 p.m.
Hold on, I got it.
Hold on, Justin. Are you telling me the world doesn't revolve around me?
Yeah.
That's 8 p.m. Eastern time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm writing it down so everybody can see it, and then I'll just put it right here on the screen. So as soon as it comes back to me, I see it. 7 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do the math, y'all. Do the math. Now, I know math is a hard one for us all, even me, but you got to this time. There's no excuses.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be fun. Bring a craft beer if you like to do that, a cocktail or a mocktail.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should. Let's talk after this too. We should put some marketing behind this video. I think it's gonna be a good one.
I will. I'm gonna put together some nice artwork and put your face on it and your name. I'm gonna put it out there, man.
Yeah, let me know. I'll boost it out on my platform.
Yeah, I'll share that stuff with you too. Yeah, I'll tag you in it and everything.
I'll try to get a new onesie by that day. Let's see. Let's see what I can do.
That one's so fly. I don't know why you need a new one. Just wash that one.
Got to keep it fresh, bro.
Do you wear conventional underwear under that though?
Why don't we find out together?
No. You guys, we've been going for almost 2 hours. We got a plan for Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Got to do the math. Okay, we're going to have a great time. Did you guys get something out of this today? Has this been good? A lot of really good detailed information about virtual assistants and everything. Nick, leadminingpros.com. Check it out, y'all. Okay. Any last things?
Hey, thank you guys, man. This was off the chains. I've been down on the weather a little bit, so I'm looking a little ragged, but I'm gonna try to come in and let you guys know how much I appreciate you. Nick, thank you so much, bro. This was amazing. Justin, you keep bringing the noise, man. Stop. No, don't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Won't stop. There you go.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much, Victor and Anthony and Charles, you guys in here. And this has been, I can't even believe 2 hours just went by. I'm ready to keep going. But man, it's been such a blast.
It has been fun. And thank you, everybody that's been a part of this and participated along with us. I really do appreciate it very, very much. You are really what makes this fun. It would be no fun without you. Trust me, I know.
You used to not be here, so I used to be there.
You used to not be here. Exactly. And it's so much more fun when you are. All right. So Jaime, Jerry, Nicholas, Steve, Victor, Anthony, Kimberly, thank you. Philip, Rick, and Vernon, Victor, Sandra, God bless all of you. Thank you so much. You have a safe and healthy rest of your weekend. VIP Club, Real Estate Wholesalers Club. We're back Monday. We're going to be working with Craigslist data, getting it, working with it. So if you want to be a part of all that VIP stuff, check us out. Lead Mining Pros, Nick, thank you. I'll give you the last 30 seconds, brother.
Oh, man, thank you guys so much. I'm here to just inspire everyone to really achieve a sliver of what I've been blessed to crack the nut on. This here is my mural that sits right behind my couch. And guys, that life you've been waiting for, it's right behind that obstacle you do not want to fucking do. So push fucking through it. Learn to do shit that you hate. And I promise you'll have a mural and live on the water in fucking no time.
All right, guys. Love y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you later.
See you guys.